Now, our guitar cases are, in many instances, life-saving devices. They help us keep our guitars humidified, right? Because it's an enclosed space. That's nice. They help protect our guitars from, knocks and bruises and dings and all sorts of things like that. But our guitar cases can actually cause damage to our guitars. Now, this isn't something you normally think of or a connection you would normally make, but I'm going to share with you 5 things to not do with your guitar case, because as a guitar geek, I care about the well-being of your guitar, and as guitar geeks, collectively, we should all care about the well-being of everybody's guitars. So, I've got my trusty demo guitar case here. This is actually from Joe and Don R. from Helena, and I want to thank them for this. This was a Christmas gift, but I'm going to use it as a demo right now. So this is our guitar case, right? We got our handle, we got our latches. This is our guitar case. The first thing I don't want you to do with your guitar case is lean it against a wall like that. Why? Well, if it's a slippery surface, it could go like that. Right? You think, well, that's not a big deal. The guitar's in its case. Well, it is a big deal because, yes, your guitar's not getting a ding on it, but just because of the force of that drop, it can actually cause a crack right around the headstock area of your guitar. So please don't lean a guitar case on a wall like that. Worse yet, somebody could knock it forward and it falls face down. If it falls face down, then you might have a crack, again, on the back of the headstock. So just because your guitar's in the case doesn't mean it's protected from everything, right? So just be conscious of how you're orienting the case when you're laying it down. I would just recommend laying it on the floor like that. I've had many instances where my guitar has taken quite a spill just from leaning it against a wall like that. So don't lean it against a wall. Next up, one thing to know is that while your guitar case does protect the guitar, it doesn't necessarily protect it from the environment. Okay, here's an example. You're done playing at your neighbor's house or wherever you're playing, you throw your guitar in the car and think, oh, I just got to run into the store real quick. I'll go ahead and leave my guitar in the car. And it's a summer day, maybe it's 75, 80 degrees, 90 degrees. Well, just because your guitar's in its case doesn't mean it's safe from the heat that builds up in the car. And the same is true for the cold, right? So the guitar case itself doesn't protect from the outside environment. Yes, it creates a buffer zone, but it can actually cause a lot of harm, right? Just because your guitar is in its case doesn't mean it's protected in this invisible shield manner, right? It still is going to heat up, it still is going to cool down, and that can affect the finish. Especially if it gets cold, you can get finish cracks, you can get actually really quick wood cracks on it, and the same thing with heat. Because of that rapid expansion, you can get loosened glue joints, you can get cracks, you can get, it could dehumidify rather rapidly depending on how hot it is. So don't leave your instrument in its case in a car. The case won't protect it from the environment. The third tip I have for you has to do with the latches of your case. Don't ever leave your guitar unlatched, right? Don't ever put your guitar back in its case. All right, here's my little guitar. Oh, I'm done playing. I'm going to put it back in its case, close the lid, and don't latch it, right? Don't ever not latch the case. Why? Because if you forget and you go to pick it up, you're going to pick up that guitar, and the guitar can fall out of the front of the case and cause not only a really horrible noise to hear, but probably some damage as well. Also, in regard to the latches, one of the things that I would recommend strongly, and this is really for those of you who have maybe those chipboard cases, think like old Gibsons, Stellas, Harmonies, any of those old flimsy like cardboard cases, right? I want you to carry the guitar with the latches towards your body. So as you're holding the guitar case, those latches, the case top should be against your body. Why? Because if those latches happen to let go, at least your body's in the way to catch the guitar. If you carry it with the latches out or the case top out, if those latches let go, your guitar is again going to fall to the ground. That's something that's easily avoidable if you just carry it with the case top towards your body. I still do this even on my 5-latch hard shell cases. I know that's probably overkill, but you never know. If the latch lets go, I don't want my guitar spilling out on the floor or the ground or the pavement or whatever. So I always carry it with the case lid closed and obviously close to my body. So that is our third tip. The second tip, what not to do with your case, don't leave it in the sun. And you're probably thinking, okay, Tony, you made the temperature point. I get it. I would never leave my guitar in its case in the sun. That's actually not what I'm talking about. Don't leave your guitar case empty in the sun, right? Guitar cases are black. They absorb heat, right? As the sun beats on that case, it's going to heat up the inside of the case. It might be a cool day. It might be 65 degrees out, 70 degrees out. Beautiful summer day, you're playing outside. Your guitar case is in the sun. It's heating up. It's going to heat up a lot more rapidly because it's black. It's absorbing the heat. You go to put your guitar away, and it's kind of cool, 70 degrees into, say, a 90-degree case. That's a 20-degree temperature fluctuation. So you could run into some finish issues there, some checking just because of that rapid change. So don't leave your case in the sun. I know it seems silly, but we want our guitars to be comfortable, and we also want our guitars to go back to a comfortable environment, right? 70 degrees, 75 degrees outside is great, but if it's going back into a 90-degree case, that's a pretty sudden temperature shock. So just be wary of where you store your case when your guitar is not in it. It's very, very important. And last, and probably the most important, the thing I see most often as I see other players and go to different gigs and whatnot, is the number one tip, okay? Don't use your guitar case to change strings. Right? And the common thing is this, right? You lift up the latch, you take the top of your guitar case out, right? You lift up your guitar, the little pick compartment area, you flip up that little hinged door, and then you rest your guitar like that to go ahead and change the strings. That's fine, except for if somebody hits the case top, right? The case could come down on your guitar. And if you've looked at your guitar case, there's these little metal nubs, right? These little metal kind of latches, right? The other part of the latch. Well, they stick past the plane of the guitar case top. So if those come down on your guitar, those latches are going to dig into the top of your guitar. It's called case bite. It's not something you want to deal with, right? It's essentially like it's like a nail going into your guitar. You don't want that. So please don't change your cases, or don't change your strings in your guitar case. If you have to do that, if you're hard up for a place to change your strings, go ahead and take your guitar out and pop it on top of the case. It'll be a lot easier to do that, and you won't risk hurting your guitar. Right? And the same is true when you're just taking your guitar out of the case. Be very careful with the very top of it, right? Put one hand on it and then take your guitar out with the other hand, because you don't want that case lid coming down, because it will cause case bite, and that's something that it hurts. It hurts every guitar geek everywhere. It's like when you hear when you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings. Well, when a guitar gets case bite, guitar geeks just hurt a little bit all over the world. So those are 5 things not to do with your case. Let me give you a quick summary of what those are. Don't lean it on a wall. Just set it nice and stable on the ground. Don't think that because your guitar's in its case, it's protected from everything, right? If your guitar's in its case and it's in a hot car, it's not protected. Be aware of that. And then, of course, make sure to latch your case at all times, whether it's laying flat or whatnot. And of course, in the same regard, make sure you carry the case with its top towards your body. The second is don't leave your case in the sun. I'm talking empty, right? It can create a really hot environment that if you put your guitar back in, it can cause some finish issues. And last but certainly not least, don't change your strings in your guitar case. You don't want case bite. You don't want case bite. You don't want case bite. It's absolutely horrible. So be careful taking your guitar in and out of its case, and certainly don't change your strings with the guitar in its case. So that's that little guitar case 101 that will hopefully save your guitar's life, save it from a ding, save it from some sort of breakage that we certainly don't want as guitar geeks.